Mic's working.
I can see that.
Cool.
We should slide it forward.
Slide it back on.
We're not
2 steps now, y'all. 1 hop this time. 2 hop. Let's go. 2 hops this time. Chop, chop, real smooth. Damn it. Damn it. Damn it. Heyo, hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Brotherhood Without Manners, your favorite full spoiler reread podcast of George R.R. Martin's A Song of Ice and Fire series, starting with a Game of Thrones. As always, I'm your host, Zach. Ding! That was my smile. And sitting here next to me is Nate. Ding! That was his smile. Oh.
I said it too.
Okay.
That means it's extra smiley.
And we're going to be throwing some Game of Thrones your way today. Up in her. Getting wild on your drive to work. We're just going to rage some thrones.
Get crazy. So, since we're talking about thrones and raging, I've been reading an email about, it's like a newsletter or something from an author I read. But he was complaining about the showrunners, and he mentioned Euron. And he was saying how Euron is just upset because that there's nowhere nearby for him to get some truck nuts to post up on the top of his mast on his boat. And I thought that was fucking hysterical. That was Scott Lynch, at Scott Lynch. I don't know what his actual handle is,
it's kind of a shame, and I can't think of his name right now, but... because the actor isn't a bad actor. The actor really tried, and you can tell he did, but, yeah, Euron was garbage. He
just didn't know... I don't think he knew what the character was supposed to be.
I don't think the writers knew.
That too.
I mean, he was trying. with whatever they gave him, he...
Oh, speaking of the writers knowing, you had stumbled across that... with the Broken?
Yeah, so that was interesting. It was, I can't take credit for the discovery at all myself. It was a Reddit post that I stumbled across. And essentially there is an excerpt about, I believe it's King Aegon the Third? Yeah, I have to double check here because it gets very Targaryen-y.
So it's an article, here you go, you read it.
Yeah, it's an article... about King Aegon III, the Unlucky, the Broken, the Dragonsbane. And what I did was I read this the first time and it blew my fucking mind because I thought it was about something entirely different. And so I read it aloud to Nate, who you as well thought that this was sort of like at first I thought, and Nate thought, that it was like a fan fiction written shortly after the events of the show as to what happened with Bran and Tyrion's rule. And it's not at all. It's an excerpt from Fire and Blood about describing King Aegon III the Unlucky.
Yeah, so I'll link the article
and his Hand of the King, and how essentially they're the exact same fucking thing.
Yeah, it's crazy. And so we were wondering if perhaps that, we know that they weren't quite accurate to some of the plans that we and a lot of people aren't.
But maybe they did at least keep it in the history of the world.
They took it seems like they at least were influenced by something that they actually took from the source material.
Yeah.
And whether or not it lined up appropriately with the way the show was going is to be debated.
Yeah, we all know at this point people
but...
have their thoughts and feelings about the way the show ended, but I thought that this was just super interesting because It
was cool.
King Aegon III was essentially Bran. He was in a wheelchair. He was unemotional. He didn't really...
Now, is that the Aegon that he took the idea for the chair when he told Tyrion that he got a new idea for chair plans? And what was it, the Last of the Starks?
Probably, yeah.
Was it Aegon III? Because that's where the callback was coming.
The tie-in. I don't know. I just thought it was really interesting.
Yeah, but...
Again, we'll post that in the show notes. It's a good read if you're interested still in the show, and maybe even if you're angry, it might maybe give you a different thought perspective on it, because it's a super interesting read.
Yeah, regardless, it's from Fire and Blood, so
anyway, if you joined our last episode, we were reading Eddard and I don't remember, I think it was 11?
11.
Yeah, Eddard 11. And in this, Ned was holding court. He was ruling high atop the Iron Throne, which, as we discussed ad nauseum, is a large, looming mass of twisted steel, and it's just amazing. And you really felt its presence in that episode, in that chapter.
Yeah.
And I even went so far as to say that it felt like it was a point of view chapter, sort of about or around the Iron Throne and sort of the influence it has. But
the cool thing is, in the back of that room during court, we had Sansa sitting there with Septim Ordain, and that's who we're reading this week.
Yeah, so Ned had been confronted with some people saying that they were attacked by brigands that seemed to be Lannister men, the Mountain, and his men, unadorned, unarmored. So Ned sent out Lord Berric Dondarrion, Thoros of Myr, the start of the Brotherhood Without Banners, and sent them to deliver the king's justice to Sir Gregor. And Sir Loras volunteered himself. He was really hopeful for it, and Ned said, you seek vengeance, we're delivering justice. So Ned made the proclamation, and then Varys was being weird at the end about Sir Ilyn maybe being angry about it. And so this week we pick up with Sansa 3, her third chapter in this book.
Yeah,
the book
we've
is
only
almost
got
done.
28 chapters from here on it.
And so this chapter picks up the very same night that Ned was holding court. And she is telling Jeyne Poole that her father would not send Sir Loras, and she believes it was because Ned was in a foul mood because his leg was paining him. Yes. Otherwise, he definitely would have been thinking clearly enough. It hurt him
ever so much, and he gets so cross.
And so it says that this night, Ned was eating in his bedchamber with Alan, Harwin, and Van Poole to better rest his leg, because poor dude literally broke it like a week ago.
Yeah, exactly. And Sansa's still hung up on Loras's dismissal.
Yeah, Arya's supposed to be joining her and Jeyne Poole, but she's late coming back from her dancing lesson. So, yeah, it says her father's decision had bewildered her. She is fucking dumbstruck.
Yeah, because she was saying that the stories and songs were coming to life before her eyes.
Yeah, she thought she was stepping inside one of old Nan's stories for once. The handsome knight, Sir Gregor, the monster, Sir Loras, the true hero to slay him, and he looked a true hero.
I thought it was really funny because she mentions that he looked a true hero, so elegant and slim. We got a description of the same person from Ned's point of view.
Yeah.
And it was not that.
No, he's a scrawny boy.
I think he said he could see just how small he was now that he wasn't built up with his armor and stuff. That he was actually much smaller.
No, he's a 16-year-old boy. Yeah. I mean, he's not anything big and brave. Like, the armor, I'm sure, makes him look when you're on a fucking mounted steed. But Sansa's blind to it because it's a song coming true before her. And so, but her father still refused him, and it upset her more than she could even tell. So this girl's going through a lot, okay? So everyone needs to just give her some space. But she said as much to Septim Ordain and was told that it was not her place to question her lord father.
And this is when, once again, Creeper Baelish is here.
Mouth breather in the back here steps up.
And he's like, you have the quote? He basically tells them that, sometimes Ned's decisions could use with some questioning.
Definitely.
So we don't disagree with that, but do you have to breathe down her neck?
Well, then he creeps it up and says, the young lady is wise as she is lovely. And he puts a hand up to her cheek and caresses with his thumb like her cheekbone down. And yeah, dude, like,
these people need to be stopped.
You just come up and start fucking touching on this girl, and it's so.
I mean, even in that world, it's weird. Like, let alone where we're at with our thought processes.
And again, we in our last email from the Not So Silent Sisters, we got some great correspondence. They touch on this as well. They put it a lot more eloquently, obviously, as women who have potentially experienced such a thing as just
or even
creepy.
If they haven't experienced it, just being a woman having those. Well,
that's
every
what
woman's
That's it. I'm sure
this creeping
at this
guy.
And so we'll definitely touch on their email toward the end of the show because they have a lot of great points that I don't want to interrupt with our stupidity. So we're going to hold their email off until the end, and then we'll kind of go through it. But, yeah, this, like, as much as I do love Littlefinger, the character, I do not like this infatuation with Sansa. It's and as much as we laugh about it, like, because he just appears out of the blue.
It's off-putting, and it's creepy, and it's disgusting.
When you really think about it, Sansa, I mean, she hasn't even... started having her period yet.
She's 13.
She's still a child, a little girl. She is not menstruating. She's not a woman yet. It's not, and
even if that,
and I'm
was,
only
like,
saying that by the standard in this world,
Obviously,
because obviously, yeah. But fuck off, Littlefinger. So it's creepy. It's weird.
So at the end of that, because he gives a large sweeping bow, because he says that Sansa is as wise as she is lovely.
Yeah.
And so that was right before he came up and, really creeped on her. But I wanted to note, amongst all that else will happen with Sansa this chapter, how wise she really is here that he doesn't get to see, because in her head she says that she's not quite sure whether he was mocking her or complimenting her.
Yeah.
I think because she's never liked him. She has him pegged already. Like, she knows that there's something off with this fucking guy.
Both the girls do.
And,
Arya and Sansa are...
I mean, Arya, it's almost expected. Like,
but I mean, Arya's younger, and still it's...
But for Sansa to be like... Because I think she even mentioned something similar
his
in her
fake
last
smile
chapter.
or something.
The laughing eyes.
Yeah,
they were just
there was no laughter
creepy,
in his eyes. Yeah, she sees through Littlefinger's facade.
And so, this is...
And she's
really
aware
like
that the way he talks
is he mocking me or complimenting me?
And so Septa Mordane is upset as fuck that they were overheard. And I'm sorry, Lord Baelish, don't listen to her. She was just rambling. It's nonsense. Yada,
just
yada, yada.
foolish chatter.
But he asks Littlefinger asks Sansa why she would have sent Sir Loras, and basically she says that
12-year-old girl.
She had no choice but to explain the hero and the monster. So she explains the fairy tale in her head, and he says, "Well, that's not the answer I would have given." And this is when he does the creepy cheek touch thing. Yeah. And he says, "Life is not a song." One of his better lines.
Yeah, that's what's
Life
that's
is
what's
not
great
a
about
song, sweetling. You may learn that one day to your sorrow. And I mean, just for Sansa's journey, because it's intolerable as she is in these first couple books, she is a great character. I really enjoy Elaine chapters.
This was an outstanding chapter,
and this one was
here.
Great. And so that line right there just kind of sums up her whole character.
Yeah,
life is not a song.
I think that's essentially what's happening here. This was the last kind of musically magical moment, like from here on out for her.
We get a lot of hatred toward Winterfell, toward Arya, and it's all these things that I was thinking, I couldn't help but thinking, girl, like you're gonna be wishing you got to get sent back.
But what's crazy is that this is all stuff right here that's leading up to her writing that note, writing that letter. Is this, I enjoy it here. She's already got this. She's forcing herself into a Stockholm syndrome where she's like, no, I want to be here. I want to be queen. I want to marry the prince. Like, that's my dream.
I mean, she also is, I mean, I was thinking about that where it kind of finally settled in my brain that like she's being promised to be queen. Like, who wouldn't?
No, absolutely.
Especially at that age, be like, fuck yeah, I'm doing this. Like,
right.
But anyway, it says that she doesn't say any of that to Jeyne about Littlefinger and all that conversation. And so Jeyne mentions that Lord Eddard should have sent Sir Ilyn himself. He is the king's justice. And Sansa shudders and said, Sir Ilyn is like a second monster. And Jeyne then says that Lord Berric is much a hero, brave and gallant.
Hell yeah, he is.
And Sansa thinks that Berric was handsome enough, but awfully old. He's fucking 22.
The fuck, yo.
Awfully old. Fuck you, Sansa.
Jesus.
I'm offended.
Wow.
Anyway, she thinks that Sir Loras would have been better. But, of course, Jeyne had just been head over heels for Lord Berric.
Since that first moment.
Since she saw him in the lists, and Sansa thought she was silly. After all, she's only a fucking steward's daughter. Like, Sansa gets bitchy.
She's brutal there. She's just too polite to let her know that
she doesn't
you don't
say
stand a fucking chance,
but
bitch.
She 100% looks down on this girl.
Fuck Jeyne Poole. But
yeah, like, this is her best friend, but she's 100% like, you're only a steward's daughter. Like, you can't hope to marry in the realm that I can, bitch. Like, And it even says she was beneath Lord Berric Dondarrion. He wouldn't even look her way. But yeah, it would be unkind to say so. So Sansa takes a sip of milk and changes the subject.
And she brings up a dream, quote unquote, that she had, which is actually just a wish.
Yeah.
Something, when you're daydreaming yourself and you're just kind of picturing something you'd like to happen. That's basically what this is.
But yeah, she said that there was magic to dreams. Dreams were prophetic. People knew they were prophetic, which I think is interesting that's
mentioned in this chapter.
It comes up later as well with Lady.
Yeah.
and some warging stuff that
Yeah, we'll touch
Sansa
upon
is
that when we
the
get
only
there.
Stark that really isn't having these prophetic dreams because her separation with her wolf has happened type thing.
Right.
So fuck you, George R.R. Martin, you clever man. And so she mentions that the White Hearts are magical and rare, and her gallant prince is much worthier than his drunken father. And again, the Not So Silent Sisters did some amazing fucking research.
Yeah, because we went to it a little bit during the Ned episode.
They went further.
But they went further, and we're really excited.
And
just
again,
because it's fucking interesting shit. So we're going to keep that at the end, you know, just for people that don't want to listen to really cool facts that you should definitely listen to. But, you know.
She thinks, in the songs, the knights never killed the magical beasts, but she knew Joffrey liked hunting, especially killing. Only animals, though. Sansa was certain that he had no part in Jory's murder. That was his wicked uncle, the Kingslayer.
Now, she ends her statement with accuracy. Joffrey had nothing to do with Jaime confronting Jory and them. However,
This girl.
like,
all right, so let's just take the first part. Let's break
she
this.
knew Joffrey likes hunting.
Especially killing. So
She knows he's a masochist.
Right? Like, the red flag for me here.
Hey, how are you? I know. So this is a great time to take us to this coffee shop. Thank you, but I like to brutally murder things.
Yeah, like it's time for an us doodly do. Like 8, 10, 12, 13-year-old Zach, if I met you and you were like, yeah, I like killing animals, little 10, 12, 13-year-old Zach would have a big fucking issue with that. Like,
I don't want to be your friend anymore.
Sansa, like the
especially
willful
the killing.
blindness is insane.
Yeah.
Only animals though. Okay, because that's cool. That like kosher.
That makes it okay.
Yeah, we're good.
The fuck.
So yeah, and then the whole having nothing to do with Jory's murder. Sure, yeah, but. It doesn't absolve his murder, his part in Micah's murder,
right?
Which she denies vehemently later.
At the end. So yeah, she mentioned that her father is still pretty upset about the Kingslayer. Which,
can we? Oh wait. Oh wait, I might be cutting ahead of you. Sorry.
Yeah. So just that he's very mad, but she says that it wouldn't be fair to blame Joffrey for what Jaime had done.
Yeah.
That would be like blaming Sansa for something that Arya had done.
Yeah.
And she's already got that in her mind right now. She's already got, because she's going to be blaming everything on Arya here in a little bit.
She goes ham on
everything.
Arya.
And she's already got it, like, it's lodged in her mind here that she's going to get blamed for something for Arya. And, like, how would she respond to that? And then it's going to happen here shortly. And she just
Speaking of the little she-devil.
Yes, as
Jane
if reading her mind.
That she saw Arya earlier walking through the stables on her hands. Why would she be doing that? And Sansa says, why the fuck does Arya do anything? Hell if I know.
So, I wanted to point out here, it was always a dream of mine when I was a kid to be able to walk on my hands. And if you recall, I got pretty okay at it at certain points in my life. I almost broke my neck like 3 years ago trying it again, but I was a little too old to be trying that without, practice and stretching. But for an 8-year-old girl to be just walking across the stables on her hands...
Yeah, she don't give a shit.
I just think that that's a big thing that we might miss, that when she's at like the House of Black and White in the future and she's going through this training,
she's doing somersaults and shit,
she's a fucking nimble, agile, acrobatic little
I
fucking
never really
badass.
picked up on how much actually Syrio is putting her through.
Yeah.
And it's in the background where like she's walking through the
she's
stables
balancing
on
one foot
and, like,
in this
I sat there and I was kind of like, yo, what is this? Like, maybe it was clean the stables, but don't move unless you're on your hand, like that type of thing, like this is what a water dancer would do. You have to clean these stables while walking on your hands. Do it with your feet. Use the broom with your feet or something. Like, who knows?
And so I just thought it was a really cool little background image there.
But Sansa hates the stables even when riding, and then she thinks to herself that she liked the boy. She doesn't even fucking name
the stable boy.
Yeah, like she's so
She'd
above
like to
him.
have the boy put the
She's
saddle
so
on.
stationed.
So,
like, check your fucking privilege, Sansa.
I kind of had a big I filled my fucking notebook with this chapter here. We always are constantly referring to the different people who are riding and how free they feel, but then we get this. She hates this stench, this thing, and I know it's not actually the feeling of riding that she's denying. But do we ever get her riding a horse? It's not going to be for a long-ass time. Like, when she's with Peter Baelish, as far as I can recall.
Yeah,
probably,
as far as...
Oh, well, I mean, maybe when she gets, like, torn down off of, and doesn't the Hound save her from the townspeople or some shit there?
Yeah, during the bread riots.
But, like,
I don't think
actually be riding freely.
For her, it's because we saw her on a horse with Joffrey for a bit.
Right.
And, like, it's more of the... I'm on a horse with him type.
Exactly.
It's Galen.
And like, so
it's not the writing itself.
And how vehement she is towards the stables themselves. It's just interesting that all these other people... Well, in the way
that, almost every other character, because even Jon, a couple chapters ago, he went for his little night excursion and felt free. Like, it's freedom for a lot of characters, and she's pushing in almost every way, shape, and form, because she gets... Not offers, because obviously things kind of get out of people's hands, but she's offered a way for freedom to go back to Winterfell later, and she denies that as well. She's just kind of like all of these different symbols of freedom for other characters. She is just ignoring or denying or...
So anyway, she gets mad at Jeyne Poole for... continues on with what's going on and what happened at court.
She mentions that there was a Black Brother of the Night's Watch.
Speaking of smelling like horses.
That he had been old and smelly, not at all like the old stories, because they had been Black Knights of the Wall.
Now, again, catching up with the past, Jorah Mormont had sent Yoren south for this purpose, to plead to the king for help and, like, to get that extra help that they need. Ned...
How lucky for Yoren that he arrives at King's Landing. I mean, like... Obviously, but I was thinking about it. Yoren's trajectory, because he ends up with Tyrion, then he sees Tyrion get captured, so he rides like hell for Ned. Then he arrives at Ned and tells Ned, so he's in Ned's good graces. And then Robert goes hunting, so now Ned is literally king for the day. And
so the only person that would hear him.
This is when Yoren is asking him, is when this dude who arrived and was like, "Yo, your wife did this. Like, I wanted to get here first to let you know."
And now this guy's sitting there.
Benjen is my brother too. Like, we're kind of like brothers from another mother type thing. So I was just like, damn, like either Yoren is good at the game in just a very subtle way.
Yeah. Or he's just getting lucky. Or he's just getting
pretty lucky.
Because, Ned asks the Hall
if anyone would want to volunteer.
And this is granted, before he does that, Sansa's thinking about how gross.
She always imagined Men of the Night's Watch more like her Uncle Benjen.
From the songs, too. These Black Knights of the Wall.
And that's it. And I noticed that, too. That's it. That's the only mention of Uncle Benjen. Nothing else. It's just, she imagined they would look like him. A little more properly dressed.
Right.
Not, how's he doing? How's shit? Like, anytime
she
thinks about anyone.
And that's it. And then she says that if this was what the Night's Watch was truly like, she felt sorry for her bastard half-brother Jon. Now, that's... If she does... She's not saying she does feel that.
Yeah, no.
If she's saying, if this is actually how it is, I don't know if that's how it is. It might still be like the songs.
It might just be this gross,
but if that's how it truly is, then I feel bad for that half-bastard shit brother.
So Ned proclaims out, asking, does anyone wish to volunteer for the Night's Watch for the honor of their house? No one does, so Ned says that Yoren can have the pick of the dungeons. And then later... We were going to skip over it because we really don't
we can still mention it, but we were going to do it briefly just because, we don't want to draw too much attention to ourselves.
Two brothers from the Dornish marshes that may or may not be connected with the Brotherhood Without Manners came and pledged their service to the king, and Ned accepted their fealty. And so...
Jeyne Poole interrupts there, and that's that.
Yeah, that's that. So we don't really like our cameo getting public, but yes, this was Nate and Zach Carr, and we enjoyed swearing our loyalty to Ned Stark. Anyway, no, in the Not So Silent Sisters email, they had some interesting predictions and thoughts on this. I was thinking on this as well, and I can't come up with anybody.
Anyone in specific.
Anyone significant that would be sleuthing.
They had some fun. We'll get into this.
Yeah,
We'll
they had
read it
fun
there,
ones that
so.
we'll mention. And so, yeah, Jane asks for lemon cakes. They can't find any, so they go to the kitchen. They find half a strawberry pie, which they eat on the steps, giggling and gossiping and telling tales. And by the end of the night, by the time she goes to bed, she felt as wicked as Arya, which...
Again.
You went to the kitchens, which for a noble lady, I'm sure you are allowed to just stroll into
Right,
the kitchens and take whatever you damn well please. And then you sat up a little bit late into the night.
So I did want to mention, for some reason I underlined it because it was important. When Jeyne Poole first mentioned lemon cakes, Sansa says that she thinks that she hates being interrupted.
Oh, yeah.
But as much as she hates being interrupted...
Lemon cakes sound dope.
But I was more caught by that, her hating being interrupted.
Yeah.
And wonder how much more that's going to play into things in the
future. No, I caught that as well. I didn't know if it was significant enough to know, so I didn't. But it says that she awoke before dawn and watched as Lord Berric Dondarrion formed up his men. And as she sees Alan carrying the Stark banner amidst all these... brave knights, she thinks that the Stark men look very proud in their gray and white.
It was at this point that I kind of decided to myself that what the theme of this chapter is vanity, is her, how vain she is.
Alan was handsomer than Jory had been. He would be a knight one day. You bitch.
Just, he's barely died.
Barely dead.
And you're only worried about the fact
that's
that,
a very good point. This chapter is vanity.
And because every little thing that she discusses is either inconsequential,
the way it looks,
or
the way it's been told to her to look,
or how it lines up with the songs.
The stories.
It's so fantastical. But
so it says that the Tower of the Hand feels empty after all the men leave. So much so that Arya is even pleased to see Arya.
I did want to mention that outside in the field before Berric and them left, that Sansa mentions there are 3 banners that were there.
Oh, yeah, the banners.
The Crowned Stag, the Direwolf of the Starks, and the Forked Lightning of Lord Dondarrion himself.
I suppose that is important, considering the Brotherhood Without Banners is essentially formed here with this grouping.
These guys right here.
They'll pick up Anguy,
and some other
who won the archery tournament, and Lem Lemon Cloak, and a couple others. But yeah, this is the initial forming of the Brotherhood Without Banners.
Lem Lemon Cloak, man, the theories I like to follow about that motherfucker.
So next time we see them, there will be a couple books. So see you guys later. Anyway. Sansa says, she's pleased to see Arya at breakfast because the tower feels so empty, who asks
immediately
if everyone went after Jaime Lannister, essentially. Like, they hunting down Jaime?
Yeah, did Father send them out to get him?
Sansa tells her that, no, Lord Berric rode out to behead Sir Gregor Clegane, and she asks Septa Mordain. This is, like, insanity.
So, yes, but I love this
a little bit, like... But Septa,
the thing is
Septa puts up with some shit.
So it's the way that this world is, because Septa's only mad because she's talking about it
at breakfast.
And it's that she's so of that noble mindset. She's so lost in that she doesn't realize how fucked up the question really is. As great as it is, it's a fucking hysterical question. Would they be mounting the head of the mountain at Lord Berric's keep, or would they be sending it here to King's Landing so we can
bringing
have
it back
here?
To the king?
Me and Jeyne Poole were arguing about it last night, and we just don't know.
The Septa is horror-struck by this, as any responsible, reasonable adult should be, and says that a lady does not discuss such things over porridge. Where are your courtesies,
and then
Sansa? I swear of late you are as bad as Arya.
Why?
That's horrible. Don't compare it to, not in front of her.
Well, I know that Arya's known for throwing the food and, giving her... But, you don't do that, Septa Mordain.
Yeah, not when Arya's sitting right there. That's fine.
Man.
So Arya asks what it is that Sir Gregor did.
She doesn't even give a fuck. And I love that she doesn't refer to him by his nickname.
Yeah, no.
What did Gregor do? Not even Sir Gregor, just Gregor.
Yeah. And Sansa tells her about the raiding and the pillaging, and Arya scowls and says, Jaime Lannister murdered Jory and Heward and Wool, and the Hound murdered Micah. Someone should behead them. logically.
Accurate.
Oh, yeah,
accurate as
100%.
fuck statement. And Sansa
It's
is
not the same.
Is Sansa. No.
The Hound is Joffrey's sworn shield. Your butcher's boy attacked the prince, which, like, is a lie. I understand. I get it.
No, that's what's so good is that we saw that from Sansa's point of view. We know what happened. We know she is lying. But she's so caught up in it herself.
It's that thing where, like, and that's what I fucking love about, like, her trajectory is when she gets a little more footing under her, she's going to be the best fucking liar because she convinces herself of these things. Yeah. And that's it. It's like
once she pulls back that veil,
then gets rid of the fear. Immerse yourself in the lie, no one will ever be able to call you out because you live it. And that's sort of what she does as Elaine, and that's what she's doing here with Joffrey.
Exactly.
And she's convincing herself that there's a whole different fucking universe around her.
But as much as she's convinced herself, Arya's like, "Fuck you, you're a liar,"
and squeezes the blood orange so tightly in her hand that the red juice runs, which just looks like blood, which I thought is excellent foreshadowing with Arya fucking with a bloody fist.
And Sansa says, "Call me all the names you like, but once I've married the prince, I'll be queen, and you'll have to call me your grace."
And Arya flings the blood orange at her, takes her right in the forehead, and plops down on the table, and Arya says...
Plops down in her lap.
Oh, her lap, that's right. And Arya says, "You have juice running down your face, your grace." And...
Fucking mic drop.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, right there, end of chapter, and end of book.
Sansa composes herself and is wiping it with a napkin, and it's when she sees what it does to the dress, again, the vanity of it, she freaks the fuck out. She starts shrieking.
"You're horrible!" She gets fucking brutal here.
They should have killed you instead of Lady. Like,
dang. Now, that's important. She brought up Lady.
Oh, yeah. Lady's on her mind. So... Septa Mordaine's had enough. She jumps to her feet, shrieking that your father will hear of this. Now, to your chambers, both of you at once. I'll not hear of it. Sansa's like, even me, it was Arya. And Septa's like, nah, fuck out of here, go. And so Sansa goes with her head up because she was to be a queen, and a queen does not cry. At least not where people can see
Now,
her.
is that something that Cersei... Does Cersei cry when she's doing her walk of shame? Has she done the walk of shame yet in the books?
Yeah, because she gets taken in the arms of Robert Strong.
Right, she just did that.
Yeah. I don't know if... I'm pretty sure she cries, but I would not be shocked if that's the first... Like, Sansa certainly hasn't seen her cry.
Right.
And I think that's also just another song thing. Of, It's the beauty, the vanity. Don't let them
I was just
see
wondering
you
if
cry.
it was just some kind of a, we'll see that in Cersei at some point, too.
In her bedchamber, Sansa balls up her dress and screams that I hate her, meaning Arya, and throws the dress into the cold hearth. And it was in this moment that I was hit with another scene of Sansa's, which is in Clash of Kings, when the poor girl does eventually flower after her father's been beheaded and all the rest of her family is gone, and it's just her in this shitty situation. And she panics because she knows that her flowering means she can have Joffrey's children and she'll be married to him. So she tries to hide it by doing the exact same thing. By, one, trying to first cut her bedspread and the sheet and stuff them into the fire. And then by just shoving the whole mattress in there. And...
Now, we also came to once you brought this to light, the fact that where the blood orange landed in her lap and the red orange stain that left was... going to be in that same position where the stain would be.
She would be bleeding when
and
she
so
wakes
for
up.
it to actually have that imagery of her throwing something that appears like the blood
well, that was it, because I was in it. It's inappropriate, but yeah, it's over her good bits. And so when I was reading it, I was initially like, is this foreshadowing like a bad childbirth or like getting violated violently?
Right, raped.
And then I was like, or is it because as soon as she threw the dress into the fire, and it said it was the cold hearth, because when she stuffs her stuff in, she actually has to pour oil on it and light it, and it's just smoking and it's terrible. So I think this is directly saying that it's gonna be another similar scene, but
with
the vanity
real blood
being completely
the
gone.
veil's lifted at that point.
It's
the real deal.
It's the real deal.
So she freaks out when she sees it's on her underclothes, chucks those in there too, and then she just flops in bed
and cries herself to sleep. So yeah, it says that she awoke to Septa Mordane knocking at midday, saying that your father will see you now, Sansa. And Sansa calls out Lady, because it seems at this point that she was
still in the room with her.
Yeah, Our Lady is still in the room with her, and it says that she had been dreaming of her. And so it says in the dream that they were running together, which isn't essentially warging, but I really do believe that this was her sort of last gasp of warging.
Do you think that any part of Lady was taking comfort in Sansa at the time of her death? And so potentially they were she was able to share that warging ability in her unconscious state because she's kind of there with Sansa.
Yeah, I'm not, I don't know, like, for me it just kind of feels like this was the last little bit that she was ever going to get of her Stark lineage, again before this veil is lifted, because they're running together, but she says it's like trying to catch water through your hands, trying to remember. She's
losing the memory.
And as I was reading it, I just kept picturing Lady running further from her and her not being able to keep up. And then it faded and Lady was dead again.
Yeah. So can I also mention that now that I think about it, whenever other people warg, it doesn't fade.
Yeah.
The like when, for instance, just as an example, in Mercy, when she wakes up in the beginning, she can smell the blood and taste the blood.
Yeah.
And it's still there. Like,
her
she's mentioning
pounding.
it, like, and she's like, yeah, but it's not like it's fading like running sand or water. Like, she's not losing it. She can taste that, and it's there and lingering.
Yeah, so I thought it was interesting that it seems to be this last high of...
Yeah. But Septa Mordane raps on the door and says that Lord Stark will see you now.
Yeah, let's go. So Sansa asks for a moment to dress and then goes down. And when she arrives in Ned Solar, he is bent over a large book, which...
Thinking about it right then and there. So he's actually in it right then.
And when
Thank goodness.
Sansa enters, he very not unkindly bids her enter and then tells... as Arya.
In the chapter where Arya went and hid herself in her room, barred herself in and wouldn't open it until Ned was the one to come in, it says that he came in and he said something to her, not unkindly.
Yeah,
it's always the same.
May I come in?
Right.
I think he asked her.
Yeah, he did. Right.
So it's showing that he never yells at them or berates them, and he tells her, "Come sit beside me." And then Septa Mordane goes and gets Arya and returns with Arya squirming in her grasp, which, fuck it, Arya. So Ned thanks her and says that he would speak alone with his children. And so Septa leaves, and Sansa immediately launches into an anti-Arya tirade.
Yeah, it was Arya's fault. I didn't do anything wrong. I'm innocent.
She hates when things are beautiful and perfect and nice and fancy, like, just shit.
So at the same time, though, like, because it's... they're siblings. We bickered like that. We, with the other one, also bickered like that with... they're sisters. This is to be expected. This isn't anything crazy. Even her wishing she was dead. I mean, the number of times you've actually attempted to kill me. We can't talk about it too much because if it's on record... Right.
Come on.
So, I think that this does give us, if you look between the lines, a good character builder for Arya. She obviously doesn't hate things that are beautiful. She doesn't hate these other... She enjoys adventure. She enjoys this.
She was the one looking out the windows on their journey on the King's Road.
And so we'll get even more of that again here at the end of the chapter, but...
Arya speaks up, and because Ned cuts Sansa off enough.
Enough,
and
Sansa.
It's curt. And I think that's about as much as he ever raises his voice.
Ned silences her, his voice sharp with impatience, which is just that... We're done. You're done?
Yeah.
Enough. That's not what we're here to talk about.
You know what that's like, don't you? With the little one?
Yes, I'm aware.
And so Arya speaks up and says, "I'm sorry, Father. I was wrong, and I begged my sweet sister's forgiveness." Which I think
this is Sirio's teachings.
I think this is Arya in Ned's last talk.
Well, that too, with him saying you just need to think about the family.
Do me this solid and
try.
And so I think she's like, shit, like, my bad, Dad. I didn't
realize
I was just fucking
far.
off
that makes sense.
and shit got carried away. And I think Syrio definitely is sort of tempering her.
Right.
And I think she understands that.
So Sansa was so shocked that what was I going to say? She was so shocked that she doesn't even... It takes her a minute to realize, that she's still pretty pissed about the whole ordeal, but she mentions, that you ruined the dress. That's fine silk.
Arya says she'll clean it.
And Sansa's like, fuck that bitch. Nah.
I'll make you a new one.
It's stained, and seriously, you?
Yeah.
You
like,
fucking
Arya's
dumb little
trying.
shit? Are you kidding?
So Ned sighs and says that, I didn't bring you here to talk about this fucking dress. I brought you here because I'm sending you both back to Winterfell. And they both immediately, vehemently
So
protest.
Arya, you can't. Sansa says, please don't. So I like the two differences in the way that they protested. You can't. Please don't.
I really like that Ned smiles at the fact that they both finally agree on something.
It smiles and
That's
says,
just
at
such a
last
good
we
moment.
found something you can both agree on.
It's just such a good moment for
Yeah,
Ned.
it's outstanding.
His two fucking daughters.
Sansa tries to argue again about how she didn't have anything to do with what's going on. She didn't do anything wrong.
Even aside from that, we get why. Like, she in her head, she thinks she doesn't want to go back. She loved the pageantry of King's Landing, the vanity, the lords and the ladies, the city. The tournament was the most magical day of her entire life. And then there's all the things she hasn't seen again. The mummers shows and festivals and harvest balls.
But I like how she, even in her mind, said that she loves King's Landing.
Yeah.
And it's, like you mentioned, that vanity. And there's nothing wrong with, a little girl dreaming about being the queen and liking pretty things or anything like that. It's about the
danger surrounding them.
The danger
everywhere.
and that forced ignorance, refusing to see what's right there.
Yeah, and so
Ned.
she says, send Arya away, but I'll be good. If you just let me stay, I'll prove it to you. Please just let me stay.
Yeah, she says, I can be fine and proper as the queen herself, basically.
And so Ned says that he isn't sending them away as punishment. Like, it's not because of your bickering, though I'm fucking sick to all hell of it. He says it's for their own safety. 3 of his own, and he says this aloud to them, 3 of my own men were cut down, and what does Robert do? He goes hunting. Like, and that's like such, that really puts it in
because he says not half a mile around the corner from here. Like, they died. And
Arya
Sansa looks at Arya, and Arya was chewing at her lip in that disgusting way she had.
I chew my lips.
And, dang, she just has so much venom at poor Arya right now.
Immediately
but
targets.
These are some of their last interactions together.
Yeah.
And so, we got to also keep that in mind. That, again, full spoiler as always. But yeah, this is how they're going to leave their relationship. Is these last few moments.
And again, we're hitting what's important to them because Sansa, the pageantry, the lords and ladies of the city, the tournament, Arya,
justice, fairness for her friends.
She just asks, can Syrio come
back
with us?
And then can Syrio come back with us?
She's established a relationship with this guy. It's really the only person she has in King's Landing.
That's all that she's worried about there in King's Landing.
Yeah,
and Sansa flies off the fucking handle.
Who cares about your stupid dancing master? Father, I just remembered. I can't go back to Winterfell. I'm to marry Prince Joffrey. And it says that she tried to smile bravely for him. I love him, Father. Oh, I do. We will be so happy together, she says. And Ned, she goes on. And it's just nonsense. But I can't get over that. She tries to smile bravely for him. Like, she's breaking the news. Like, Dad, sorry, but, we're in love, and we're going to do it. We're getting hitched. We're getting fucking hitched, and, sorry. He also knocked me out. It's a whole ordeal.
Or at least that's what I'm going to let, And she says that she loves him as much as, the women in the songs loved the magical nights and all that shit.
Well, Ned says, sweet one, when you're old enough, which, thank you, Ned, when you're old
he's
enough.
aware that Baelish is fucking out of his mind.
Well, he's aware that Baelish is. He's also aware that, this was a super early match to make.
And a bad match.
And he says, I'll match you with a High Lord worthy of you, someone brave and gentle and strong. This match with Joffrey was a terrible mistake. That boy is no Prince Aemon, believe me.
Yeah.
Prince Aemon.
Well, because she was talking about how Prince Aemon in the chat. That's the paragraph, the night that she was talking about.
The Maester Aemon reference down in King's Landing. It's
Lady
nice.
Nerys had been in love with Prince Aemon, and so she says that I love him as much as Nerys loved Prince Aemon. And he says, that boy is no Prince Aemon.
Yeah.
Damn straight.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
so she insists that he is strong and he is gentle. And I don't want him to be gentle, and I don't want him to be brave. We'll still be happy. I'll give him a son with golden hair, and he'll be the greatest king there ever was, brave as a wolf and proud as a lion. And Arya makes a face. Not if Joffrey's his father, which fucking gold. Like, yeah, that kid ain't gonna be shit.
So yeah, that's
and second, he's a liar and a craven, and anyhow, he's a stag, not a lion.
And Sansa yells at him, and this is what's so wonderful about this point is that it's just her vanity and her obsession with that has given her the insight to see that Joffrey is nothing like his slob of a father.
He's the Royal Lannister, that proud, cunning.
Exactly. And so she says he's nothing like that drunken king.
And it hits Ned like a fucking...
Yeah, and I love how she even is like...
Father looks at her strangely.
And he... Gods... And he swore softly, out of the mouth of babes. And they're like,
Dad, what?
The fuck are you talking about, dude? Like,
Dad,
and
you're
so
scaring us.
Well, he just closed the book. It's sitting next to him right there. Yeah. And
he immediately shouts, "Send him my dad!
We're done.
Come get these fucking kids!
Get him.
Well, but he tells the girls that essentially they're gonna take ship. He's gonna find them a ship to take them to Winterfell because the seas are safer than the high road right now. And they're still arguing yada yada yada. But he says they will take ship with Septa Mordane,
Arya said,
some guards.
Yeah, and Arya looks at him.
And yes, Syrio Farrell if he agrees to enter my service. However, say nothing of this. It wouldn't do if anyone knew of our plans, and we'll talk tomorrow.
And Sansa's just crying. Yeah. She's a weeping mess.
So Septa comes and fetches them. Sansa is crying as they leave and thinks that they were taking away everything, the tournament, the court, and sending her back to the bleak gray walls of Winterfell. Her life was over before it began.
So at the beginning, when she woke up, she was talking about how proud and clean and great the dark black and the white on the men gathering with Berric were, and now it's gray, and bleak Winterfell.
Give it fucking 8-10 chapters, she's gonna be thinking about Winterfell and Robb and Catelyn and Bran, wistfully wishing she was there instead of here. But Septa Mordane tells her to stop her weeping, that her Lord Father knows best. Arya legit tries to be nice here.
Yeah, well, that's I realized she's been doing the whole time.
She's being civil about it, and she says, it's not all so bad, Sansa. Like, soon we're gonna get to sail on a galley, and that'll be an adventure. Which, like, Arya, that's not really Sansa's thing. But then she says, but then we'll be with Bran and Robb again, and Old Nan and Hodor and all the rest.
And Sansa acts like a fucking jerk.
And I thought it was funny because she yells Hodor, and I was like,
Hodor!
And I was like, is Hodor here suddenly?
Sansa yelled, "You ought to marry Hodor. You're just like him, stupid and hairy and ugly." And she wrenches her arm away from Arya, because she had touched her arm when she was telling, and then just fucking slams her room door, bars that shit, goes running off, and that's that.
That's that. Which, like, that strikes 2 and 3 right there, bitch. You don't insult Hodor Dumbledore in front of me. So, yeah, fuck you, Sansa, for shitting on Hodor. And that reminds me of her in The Stable Boy, the way she referenced him as the boy, which is probably how she thinks of Hodor. Is like,
he is the stable boy. Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's what I mean. He is the stable boy, but everyone there knows him as Hodor.
And that's why she's so
the friendly
offended
giant.
by the fact that she said, well, you could see Hodor. Why would I want to see him, of all people? Are you kidding me? Like,
he's ugly and stupid and hairy, and that's so fucking... You're just rude. You're rude.
So,
anyway.
Do you have an inductee?
I do have an inductee. I don't want to give it to Littlefinger. I love that fucking line that life is not a song, sweetling.
Yeah.
But I don't want to give it to him because his weirdness. It's the same thing with Jorah. It's the same kind of weirdness. I don't like it. Jorah gets weird.
Yeah, he gets very creepy with Dany in this series. Yeah, he's gross in the book.
But my inductee for this one, would have to go, I think.
All right, well, I'm giving mine to Berric Dondarrion since you're taking forever. because he took his lord's charge. He was told what to do. He got all those guys up at daybreak, had them out and going. We're not going to see him for a long, long time, but we know he's going to be handling some shit. He's going to die a few times. Like,
true.
This motherfucker.
The mountain's going to kill him.
We're going to induct him into the Brotherhood.
True.
How's that for a fucking switcheroo?
He dies for the Brotherhood. He gives Catelyn the kiss of life.
Yeah.
Anyway, that one was dope. And my inductee was going to go to Arya, but I know one of the Not So Silent sisters gave it to Arya because she's fantastic.
Yeah, so let me read hers then,
yeah,
since
read hers.
You're taking forever.
Oh my God.
Well, you're going to go last, apparently. So we're going to go with just their inductees for right now and get into the email a little bit after that. So right away, I know this is from Brandy. I know Afton is going to scoff at me, and most people do as well, but I will be inducting Sansa to the Sisterhood because I love her character. Bless her little heart. Don't get me wrong, I rolled my eyes at least 5 times while rereading her chapter, but it's setting up for so much to go down for her character in the future. It won't happen to her until later, but we witness one of the greatest tragedies, apparently that word's hard for me to pronounce, of life, the loss of naivety, the loss of innocence. I forget where I heard it, but someone once said every human being experiences 3 losses in their life: the loss of naivety, the loss of innocence, and finally the loss of life. Although we see plenty of characters go through terrible ordeals that change their view of the world, I would argue Sansa's is the greatest. And yes, she's incorrigible at times. Okay, in the first book, all the time. But she takes something away from every loss she experiences. Unsepta Afton is absolutely scoffing at Unsepta Brandy's choice. I will induct the other sister, Arya, because, well, she's so funny in this chapter. You have juice on your face, your grace. And the only reason she doesn't want to leave King's Landing is because of Syrio. She doesn't give a damn about court and tourneys and all that other shit that Sansa loves about King's Landing. And so, very great inductees. I like them. Sorry I butchered your stuff. So I believe that I've heard that the loss of naivety, innocence, and life, granted as a, full-time funeral director and having officiated some funerals. I've used that at some services myself, so I feel like it derives from some religious funeral rites. But, if not, it was cool anyway.
Yeah, it fits Sansa well.
Do you finally have your inductee ready?
Yeah, I had it ready, and then you cut me off all crazy. I was going to give it to Arya, but instead I will give it to Ned because of how
he made it.
He got there eventually, and just the scene itself is just a funny one to imagine him tripping out in front of his daughters here. And so they do also have quite a lot to say. The rest of their email regarding this chapter, they really enjoy the way Martin captures the rivalry between these two, and it says that, dude, fuck that goddamn creep Littlefinger. We cringe every time he's with Sansa. It's unfortunate, but as women, we can say, much to our disappointment, that those kind of men are more common than you'd think. We'd like to bring a little bit of the female perspective to the discussions when we can. Absolutely, that's why we enjoy you writing in. However, he delivers one of the most insightful lines in this book, and Sansa repeats it almost word for word to herself later. Life is not a song, sweetling. You may learn that one day to your sorrow. Damn. Heavy. And then it says, based on the White Heart, that Brandy is seriously procrastinating on writing her thesis. Brandy, get to it.
Get it done.
So she did a little side research on the meaning of a white hart, and apparently hart is an archaic word meaning mature stag and is associated with Herne the Hunter in English folklore.
Yeah.
He is a ghost and said to naturally have antlers on his head, rides a horse, torments cattle, and rattles chains. Additionally, a pub called the White Hart was written in some science fiction literature, and while it's fictional, the name was based on a real pub in England named the White Horse, where science fiction authors would gather, drink, and be merry in the 40s and 50s. They say it's possibly irrelevant, but we think it's interesting.
Yo, that was super awesome. Thank you so much for taking some time to look that up, because that shit, like the English folklore and the ghost with some fucking antlers is some cool ass shit. But it's really cool to see the perspective, because I know that Martin himself is a historian. He loves that kind of stuff. And so it very well could be the kind of stuff that influenced his decision to put a heart in there, because it's so mystical and magical to bring that element of nature. And so, we know that there's unicorns unicorns out on Skag and shit like that, you know, the goat unicorns or whatever the fuck they're gonna be, but like maybe this is his version of the actual mystical unicorn is the heart in this world.
I still just think it's a Patronus.
Oh, right. Okay. Sure.
Anyway, they also say that Sansa really needs to get some sense and wake the fuck up. She even realizes that Joffrey likes hunting, especially the killing part. We have nothing against hunting, but Joffrey is a fucking psychopathic monster. Brandy thinks Sansa is willfully ignorant. She contends she's smarter than we realize. Rolls eyes.
She definitely shows. I mean, like
she is intelligent
because I did bring up her wisdom there of knowing that Littlefinger's mocking or complimenting her. Like she's got it there. She's just being willfully ignorant.
And it says that she mentions to Jeyne, fuck that bitch.
Fuck that bitch.
That 2 brothers from the Dornish marshes came and pledged their swords to rob her, and I've been wondering who they could have been. I don't think it was Anguy. I'm pretty sure it's not Anguy because he was offered Ned's service.
Yeah, Ned went to him. Granted, maybe he turned it down because he wasn't the one that was too high on being named a knight, and
no, he was just too high in his riches and wine.
Right.
He won the archery contest, so he turned Ned's down.
Yeah. So he would have been more likely to have pledged his bow anyway.
Yeah. Or they don't think any of the other future Brotherhood Without Banners, but it is fun to try to figure it out. And then I love your fucking word.
Oh my god! Like, who do you think you are?
And then they say a couple of kettle blacks, perhaps. One could be Moonboy for all we know, or most likely they're just a couple of random dudes. So somebody could possibly be fucking some kettle blacks or the Moonboy for all we know. Who knows? Where did the horse go? I don't know. So
thank you guys so
I got a
much.
quick question.
We
did read.
Yes.
Okay, we did. All right. I was concerned that we didn't read your inductees for the Iron Throne, Ned. Did we? Or did we not?
I'm not thinking so. Let's just throw them in real quick.
Hell yeah, we're going to throw them in.
You get double time. Fuck it.
Yeah, I don't think we did get a chance to read them out on our Ned episode. So for Eddard 11, they induct unorthodox, but Unsepta Brandy is going to bring the Grand Iron Throne into the sisterhood. This is the first time we get a good description of its history, although this is one of the few recreations done by the show that I did not like, agreed. But I don't think they did it justice, at least in grandeur. Again, agreed, as we said. But I imagine it would have been quite a challenge to recreate the full towering Iron Throne forged by Aegon the Conqueror. Moreover, as my counterpart pointed out, the sisters always need a place to rule anyway.
So, and then Unsepta Afton was going to induct the handsome Knight of Flowers, Loras Tyrell. Oh, he's such a dream. He's just so cocky and brash, and she loves it. Although he would have been completely annihilated by Gregor, you can't dismiss his bravery. Or maybe we should call it youthful arrogance. So, I think we should call it bravery, because until he dies from it, then it's youthful arrogance. But Jaime Lannister will, in, I believe it's Feast for Crows, mention specifically about Loras Tyrell. He's me. I'm him. When I'm talking to him, I see him with that youthful arrogance and brash, like...
One, Loras is most definitely cocky. Very cocky.
Yes,
just all
absolutely.
Sorts of cocky.
all sorts of
all the cocky.
He's a very cocky guy.
He's very cocky. Second, and I thought he
goes to Dragonstone.
Yeah, and doesn't he get injured?
He gets burned.
He gets fucked up, right?
Because he goes trying to climb the wall.
And be Thoros Amir, and you ain't no Thoros Amir.
Yeah, sorry, Loras,
See?
you're not.
Ned Stark told you were gonna get fucked up. That's great inductees to the sisterhood.
Thank you
guys
as always for writing in.
This chapter, last chapter.
As they say, all men must die, but we are not men.
Anyway,
if you would like to have us read your inductees after you've heard our thoughts, the sisterhood's thoughts.
I mean, I'd like to read your stuff, so
right.
Even if you don't feel like hearing us read it, like you could still send it in and just I don't know.
So why don't you tell them the places that they can send it to?
You can do it at Twitter. I'm at Twitter at Carstark92, or Nate's on Twitter at Manners Without. We have Facebook, facebook.com/Brotherhood Podcast. We're on Instagram at Brotherhood Without. We are also on iTunes,
Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, Google Podcasts, whatever it is. Leave us a rate and review on the Apple Podcasts, and we would love you forever for that. We appreciate those greatly.
You know who I won't love forever for that? Apple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're jerks.
They're jerks.
Okay.
All right.
You can also head to our Patreon, patreon.com/withoutmanners. Join the club, man. It's cool. We got some little bonuses for you there. We're going to be working on more stuff as we keep mentioning.
Don't lie.
But
we have one bonus at the moment, but we will broaden that.
no, because there's also, they get access to our closed Facebook group, and you will write them a handwritten letter inducting them into the Brotherhood, which I just dropped on you right now, so you're welcome for letting you know you'll be doing that.
Great.
So send us messages, guys. You can always just send us messages also on any of those socials.
Don't at me about my shitty handwriting. That's that.
I forgot how bad your chicken scratch is.
Yeah.
Granted, you talk shit about mine all the time, you son of a bitch. Anyway, we'll catch you guys on the next one.
Who is next?
The next one is...
It's Ned.
Ned again.
Ed 12?
Ed 12.
Yeah, Ed our 12.
Back and forth, and then right after... It's a short one, so we might be combining it with Dany. But otherwise, if you're able to send us, I don't know, some cool theory or something, maybe we'll just do Ed at the beginning and maybe some theory talk after the chapter.
We'll figure it out as we're doing notes and figure if it's too jarring to go from Ned to Dany, because Dany might have a lengthy chapter, as usually she
is all by herself, so she needs a decent chunk over there.
So we'll see how that works. And regardless, just send us in stuff. Send us in stuff for Ned. Send us in stuff for Dany. Send us in stuff for Ned getting his head chopped off, or Dany's dragons hatching,
or the crowning.
Dany in the fucking grass sea.
I think her brother's getting crowned soon.
Her brother's getting crowned. I think her next
is that
chapter.
This next one, maybe. Yeah. So
I believe.
Yeah, we look forward to hearing from you guys. But until next time,
follow the headass.
Peace. What's up, everybody? It's Nate here from Brotherhood Without Manners. I'm just going to sneak in and tell you really quick about this sweet app called Podcoin. If you listen to podcasts at all, especially Brotherhood Without Manners, all you have to do is download this app, download our podcast, put in the code Brotherhood, and you will get 300 coins. And you can spend those coins on all sorts of cool stuff. Gift cards, donating to charity, whatever. So give it a try. Let us know if you like it. We really enjoy using it for our podcast listening. You can get free stuff, so why not take advantage of something you already do?